So she may carry it. Okay, that's the way that goes. So maybe we'll push it a little closer to 2 o'clock. That's all right with you? Sure.
Oh, I like a crab.
That's a batwing coral crab.
A batwing coral crab, that is what it says. You're correct.
Jellyfish.
I do like jellyfish. Not the ones that sting, but I like jellyfish. This looks like Crater Lake.
Artist talk, so I knew I wanted to speak. Not that that's anything unusual to all my wonderful friends that have come to support. And thank you so much for coming. Welcome to the New Zone. I find it just a fabulous gallery, and part of my purpose was to raise awareness of this wonderful gallery so you come back sometime. I am the featured artist this month. And my name is Carol Petty. And before I talk very much about art, I want to say a little bit about who I am. I grew up on a farm in northern Wisconsin. And we raised all our own food, only went to the grocery store for essentials. And I grew up very close to Mother Earth. And that's been an important part of my life. And so then I graduated from high school and went off to college, and then I moved to Oregon in 1974 to become a teacher in special education, but a teacher. And I worked for 4J district schools. And when I got married to my lovely husband, this is my son, Jeff, my daughter Amy, my lovely daughter-in-law Lizzie, and Fox and Felix. And I want to thank both my family and all of my friends for the support in coming today. So when I got married, we moved to the country, and then I could stay in touch with growing my own food and living off, living close to Mother Earth. After about 12 years ago, when I retired in 2007, I went through the Master Recycling Program, and then I did education kinds of volunteer work out in Veneta at their farmers market, tried to educate the populace about how important it is to recycle and to reduce the amount you use, repurpose the things you have, reuse the things you have, and then we could talk about recycling. Because I think there's been challenges with recycling, and there still is. But we try to do our best to save Mother Earth. So then I also started taking our classes out in Veneta, Elmira, and I had a wonderful teacher. And I, of course, had to do all the family portraits first. And she taught me how to paint oil and acrylic, primarily were the mediums. And after that, I wanted to have a voice because I enjoyed painting. As a school teacher, I taught maps in 3rd grade, and it was so much fun. So I've always loved to draw maps, and I made this kind of my big project. I started researching in 2016 the effects of climate change in visual images. Yes, I printed a few too many pieces of paper. But I wanted to see what it looked like. I wanted to see what it looked like, and I wanted to create a visual image of the impact of climate change on the world. So I researched the top 5 countries for CO2 emissions and deforestation. The United States and China, they always fight for number 1 of who's the worst. And then Japan has never got below 5. It's been in there throughout those years. And then those are all in cadmium red, which is this very brightest color. So Brazil for deforestation and Indonesia for deforestation. Then that's the first color. Then the next color is alizarin crimson, which is this darker red, and that's like the countries that ranked, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and down, right? And so I also included, as far as deforestation here, the Congo and Nigeria are really having they just cut all the trees down. So, they do that to, it's for their economy, and they're trying to do farming, and, but the trees are cut down. So that's 2 of the colors. Then from there, I had to, of course, put in the water. And I tried to use 3 different tones of blue to show the water. The lightest colors are this light color, and the darkest are the poles, the coldest water. And then this is the jet streams. From there, I tried to do landforms. Oh, did I say I enlarged these by 1/3 to make them stand out? Because if I missed telling you that, that's why a couple countries didn't quite make the map. Sorry, I ran out of room. Sorry. But anyway, I tried to put in landforms in terms of the deserts. The Sahara is huge. The Gobi, the different, but I couldn't get everything on there. Not in the 3x4 from Kings. From there, I tried to do the greener things, but they started burning, which was too bad. At the time I was ready to complete the work, I'm sorry, but Australia was on fire, and that was 2020, and I don't know if you remember that, but the smoke can be seen from outer space, and it did go all around the world and affect our breathing. From there, I was adding other little icons to show some of the trouble spots. Oh, like the flooding is a little different color blue, and the fires, as you can see, and I'm sorry we have more fires today than we did in 2016, or I mean 2016, 2020, and you know what happened in New York City in terms of smoke quality in the last week. I tried at the time to find a color that was unlike all the others that could show the countries that were really trying, you know? And Scandinavia was doing the best, so they got that peach color. So from there, I wanted to put in, these are the typhoons or cyclones, and not all of them, of course, but there are also tornadoes. This is Tornado Alley, and there is a key here if you had looked at it already. These are the garbage islands. You know, because of the currents in the Pacific Ocean, our garbage that we throw in our water and our garbage we throw on our seas get washed together and become what? Another landform? I mean, ooh. So anyway, those are there, and then I put in, the black dots are coal, oil, and natural gas deposits around the world. So you just get a sense of the distribution of where those things exist. And then there were the glaciers. Now if you've taught to paint with acrylic or oil, you start with the dark and you move to the light. So unfortunately, the pictures I took of what the glaciers were in 2016 that I printed from the computer, you know, there wasn't as much to paint in 2020. So it was particularly manifest in Greenland. I expected to have that all covered with ice, but no. So that's kind of how, this is supposed to be the Aurora Borealis, but you know, you've got to put something in the corner. And there's the sun, and unfortunately, here's my poor, sad polar bear. The polar bear is having a hard time on that little block of ice. Looks a little skinny today. So that's generally my thought, and my hope was to have this work bring awareness of the threats of climate change to our world. So that has been kind of my voice and mission and what I really wanted to accomplish with this piece of work. It's presently not for sale. It hangs in my living room, but if I don't want it in another living room, but if there was a public agency or I'd be welcome to hang it somewhere, you know, ask me. So I'll ask questions at the end, and I'll just talk a little bit first. So then that I did, and then I moved into, well, there's a lot of my painting that I do are from photos that I take. So I do the inspiration from visual images that I see on print. And my friend Barbie and I were hiking in Canada and in Waterton National Park. We were there in 2019. The fire that almost devastated the entire place was in 2017. And so in 2019, when we were hiking in what I call new life. This is the comings back of what can happen. The earth wants to heal itself. And this is Lake Moraine, fresh water, some of the most beautiful water you can see anywhere in the world. So, then I started getting into ocean animals, my favorite ocean animals. So I have, you know, our octopus. I put clubs right here, the octopus, and you know, there's a number of different things as you can see. I was working on my coral reef up at my son's home and my home up there, and Milwaukee, and Fox says, "But Grandma, you have to put in a shark." So the shark ended up in my painting, and I want to thank him for that. A little inspiration there. So there are other ocean animals there. I have the monarch butterfly, of course, is another one that we want to try to hope stays with us. And I have prints available. I have cards available. I also have this little book if you sign it, and if there's something like a card you want. I have prints and cards of everything except this painting, which was my last painting. And this is actually the inspiration was from my favorite hike ever, which is Sweet Creek Falls. And a number of you all hiked there with me, and I'm not sure the salmon, I have not seen salmon jumping there, but it's art, you know, and it's my favorite. And it helps the message, right? And so that's, I unfortunately do not have prints or cards of that one. They might be available in the future. And if there's something you don't see that you would like to take home as a souvenir, please write it in my book if it's not available, and I will let you know when it might be. Now, does anybody have any questions?
So, Iceland, because of the...
Greenland?
Greenland?
This one?
Yeah,
Iceland.
Greenland. Yeah, but
Greenland.
you just made a comment about it. Yeah, not so much ice, right?
Expected more, and there was more in 2016 than there was in 2020.
Okay, so that's pretty common across the country, but that's high up in the earth. So,
But it also was true of the Andes. You know, I mean, they're going fast. Or the Himalayas. You know, it's... So we do need to do everything we can to take care of the earth. Anybody else? Questions?
is it Africa that's doing so well, or is it because of the desert that they don't have the trees to burn, or, you know?
Well, they burned the trees, and see these.
Yeah, down below they have.
Well, that's all desert.
That's all desert.
That's all desert. And last Friday, when someone was looking at this map and we were talking, he said, and it's getting bigger.
Uh-huh.
So the extremes seem to be, with the climate change, seems to be really accelerating our problem and hopefully elevating our concern. So, yes?
Yeah.
Obviously, the big one is tragic and depressing.
Yes.
Sorry. And others are sort of inspirational and beautiful. We're trying to draw a distinction between the two.
Yes, I mean, that was the thing, is I love bright colors. You see, it's all about color. And to celebrate the beauty of our earth is to want to preserve it, I hope. So that's the balance from, yeah, it's a little depressing, but I hope it raises awareness. But the rest of the show is to help you want to. Any other questions?
I had a
Yes.
question about smoke.
Uh-huh.
So when Australia was burning years ago and went around the world, you say, what happened to the smoke? I mean, where did it go after that? Where does smoke go eventually?
Where does, I mean, I think it just generally dissipates. You have a good answer?
No.
Oh, no. I hope I'm not, I'm an artist, not a scientist, so, anybody?
I feel like it fills up the atmosphere and ends up being space.
All right, go ahead.
The atmosphere is going to absorb it, and it's just going to get distributed in particulate as pollution in places it shouldn't have originally been.
So it's up in the atmosphere,
Until it comes
particulates,
down. And
till it-
then,
till
I
it
think the larger particulate settles,
yeah.
right.
the
And the rest gets pulled up in the
micro
jet stream.
portions get pulled up and contribute to.
Yes, Fox?
Do pufferfishes actually come in white?
Do they come in what?
Pufferfishes, are there any species of pufferfish that are actually white?
Actually, I've seen that. But that's kind of white, but it's kind of blue. I heard you can't eat them. They're poisonous. You knew that?
It's like
But would you research for me if there's any that are white? But remember, your grandma's an artist, and I'm so sorry. I should have told you what time I was speaking, because I have Hedda and John here, and they were videotaping, and so I had to set a time. I apologize. I said 2:30? No, I said 1:45. Well, maybe I never said anything. And no. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. I'm just taking questions, and I certainly will take all of yours. And anybody else who still has questions? And yes, Fox?
What's in that cave?
What?
What's in that cave?
What's in that?
In the cave.
Oh, that's a moray eel.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was a good focal point for the center of the painting, because when you want to create a piece of art, you want to figure out how the whole piece looks together. So I wanted to have where your eye will go, and then how it would move around beautiful colors. Yep. Any other questions? I can't tell you how much I know almost all of you, and it's just been, thank you so much for supporting me and coming, you know, and I really, a lot of my mission here is also to raise awareness about the New Zone Art Gallery, which is, I believe, a fabulous place. We will be here for the next 5 years. We've just gotten a new lease, and Balboa is here to serve you all of your hors d'oeuvres, and you can have some, you know, there's lots of snacks and food, and Steve, he's the main guy who has the answers to everything. And so he also was involved in the beginning of the New Zone, which is outlined, is as old as 1984. And so I encourage you to ask more questions. Of course, I always like to talk, so I can keep talking, but I think you might also like to move around and see the beautiful art of all of this gallery has to offer you. Yeah. Welcome. Great location. I'm so sorry. Welcome, Renee.
These ladies.